L.I.N.K Live. My name is Marina Mayer, Editor-in-Chief of Food Logistics and Supply and Demand Chain Executive.
And I'm Brielle and Mackenna. I'm the Associate Editor.
I'm Mackenna Morales, and I am the Assistant Editor.
And today we are talking about women in the supply chain. And we're talking about that because on Supply and Demand Chain Executive, we have our Women in Supply Chain Award, and nominations for that close July 11th. That's this upcoming Sunday. So make sure you get those submissions in so we can continue to honor and celebrate the fabulous females that help make our nation's supply chains run. Here's what I've learned so far about women in supply chain. A study from the Association for Supply Chain Management reveals that the pay gap between men and women under 40 is beginning to narrow. Great news. 95% of respondents remained in their jobs during COVID. That's fantastic. More than half felt no economic impact. And that is important to understand, as a majority of the working women across the United States had to take on the additional duties of remote learning. And even if it wasn't remote learning, it was just managing the kids in general, being home with them while working. Childcare was limited, camps were closed, things were closed, all while working a full-time job. And I am one of those people that I'm finally coming up for air for. So there's been a lot going on, and I think that's a lot of information to sink in. Ladies, any insight? Because I think women in supply chain is a hot topic and will always be a hot topic.
Well, go ahead.
Sorry. So I've been working on a lot of women in trucking because I'm gearing up for our On the Road segment of the L.I.N.K podcast. And so I've been talking to a lot of people about women driving in the industry and things like that. And I think one of the really interesting trends that I think is awesome is that there's like a wave of influencers on TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that who are drivers and they're women, and it's making it more accessible to everyone to realize that this is definitely an industry that women can be in, and it's a good job. Women should be in this job, there's plenty of technology that can help with safety issues, that can help with transporting heavy goods if you don't have the strength for it. There's all these new ways of doing things, and the trucks are getting better. They're getting more efficient. There's technology that shows you the best optimized drive, like route optimization. There's all these really cool things happening in the trucking industry, and I really think it's a good time for women to get into the industry. And it's definitely growing. We're seeing a lot more women drivers. I covered a study on that a few weeks ago on the podcast. I forget what the exact numbers are, but yeah, we're seeing a lot more women coming into the industry. So that's exciting. Unfortunately, one of the things that happened in the pandemic is a lot of women specifically lost their jobs. So the trucking industry is trying to, entice women who have lost their jobs from the pandemic to get into trucking. And like I said, it's an exciting time. You can go, Mackenna.
Mackenna's turn.
I just believe in women. I love women so much that it's always nice to see improvements, especially in our industry, because it is so male dominated. I don't know about you guys, but I know there has been a few times at like Modex and other trade shows where I have been the only woman in certain sessions, just like the educational sessions too. So seeing more people that look like us will help. And representation always matters. I cannot stress that enough. But in this most recent Gartner survey, they found that women now make up 41% of the supply chain workforce, and that is up from 39% last year. And so while every leadership level has increased in representation, there has been a slight drop in executive roles, and that is down 15% from 17% last year. So it kind of goes hand in hand to what you were both saying of women stopped working during the pandemic. I think in the month of December, all of the jobs that were lost were from women because they were staying at home with their children. They were being caregivers. But I believe that it will continue to grow as more people get vaccinated, as things are rolling out. But another thing that this survey pointed out, that while COVID did disrupt many industries, it did not disrupt the efforts that the supply chain industry is making to gain more gender equality. And according to the survey, 84% of organizations claimed that the pandemic had no discernible impact on their ability to retain and advance women.
Well, and the importance of that is that happened all during the pandemic. So the women in supply chain number that you referred to grew, even though the executives went down. But I think that that's just indicative of responsibilities. Like, hey, I can't take on any more work because I have my hands full at home. But here's the deal. I'm still going to work for you. I still need a job. I still need to bring in income. And my heart goes out to all the women, especially those single women out there who had to juggle it without extra help like that. So I think it's an important discussion to have. And I commend all of the companies in the supply chain that are working hard to improve their work-life balance, opportunities for not just women, but for everybody that is a part of the supply chain, and offering the flexibility. And to Brielle's point, all those TikTokers and influencers, I mean, that's so important because you're showing real world, real life instances where, hey, this can be you. You can still make money and still be at home with your kids and still have a job and a career that matters, that means something, because the supply chain matters. So women in supply chain, make sure you get those nominations in. It's on stcexec.com under awards. They close July 11th. That's this Sunday. So anybody in the supply chain is applicable. Any questions, feel free to reach out to us, but get those nominations in so that we can continue to honor and celebrate the women that keep these supply chains moving. So thank you, everybody. And thank you for joining us today. We will see you next Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central. Thank you for your time.
Yay.